Peace. Um, this particular post here is supposed to be a short post, maybe one or two um, videos dealing with dating. This will also be in response to a video that was posted by a sister by the name of Makalesi. If I pronounced your name incorrectly, it is okay to send me a nasty email telling me so. Okay. Anyways, one of the issues or one of the challenges that I keep observing that couples or individuals of the opposite sex and same sex are having in relationships is the issue of dating. Okay, there's some key things that I'm going to utter in these videos that may not have been heard before, or may have been heard and haven't necessarily been focused upon. Okay, especially with the word or term date. Now, as you all know, I love to deal with the meaning, etymology of words. Okay, now, I guess before I begin speaking of dating, it would be important for me to give the reference to date. Now, in dealing with this word, like if you have a great etymology dictionary, whether it's online or you have an actual physical copy, you will find maybe 2 to 3, maybe 4 different references to the word date, that being of time and the other being of a fruit. Now, there's a third meaning or reference, which means or refers to liaison. Okay, gradually evolving from date in its general sense of appointment, romantic sense by the 1890s. The verb in this sense is first recorded 1902, meaning person one has a date with, and from 1925. Now, it distinctly mentioned an appointment in a romantic sense. An appointment is also relating to business, where two individuals are supposed or have agreed to have a meeting or meet and discuss terms of this meeting for exchange. Okay. Now, the sister whose video that I'm also posting this as a response for, one of the things that she mentioned in her video was that if you are a brother or man, and that can also be applied to if you are a woman, and if you are particularly dating someone, and every time you go out or you meet with this person, you're always spending money, or you have to come out of the pocket materially in order to please this person and allow this person to be happy with you, or at least to accept you in some sense. In so many words, you're fucking fool. Alright? Now, she didn't say that. You know, she let it off a little bit nicer, a little bit kinder than I did. Get into the point, you're a fool. You are someone who has more so taken the role of a courter rather than someone who is a I guess you could say someone who's interested in dating, or someone who has feelings towards the individual to the point where you and this particular person are to become an item, have an exclusive monogamous relationship or whatever type of relationship. And the reason why I referred to the word date and courtship is this. Now, I've heard some individuals, especially some women that I've had conversations with, and they will say, well, you know what? A lot of men don't seek courtship with us anymore. Us meaning women. Men don't court us. Now, it's interesting too, because the word court or courtship doesn't necessarily mean what we think it does too. Most often we are feeling or thinking that it means when someone is expressing and doing things of a more, I guess you could say, romantic nature, to allow the other person to feel that they will be the better companion, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, if you wish to use that term. However, when you look up courtship and you reference that and go into the etymology of it, a courter who is seeking to deliver the actions or perform the actions of courtship, that person can be a fool too. Matter of fact, courtship, in the sense, especially back in the medieval times, most often it was a man who fancied or looked at a particular woman as being special to him, someone he may have been interested in romantically. So he would give her gifts or may write her poetry, anything that we would consider romantic, to allow this woman to feel that she should choose him. However, in the true essence of courtship, she doesn't have to. The only thing a courter is doing is allowing this woman or this maiden to feel good. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get sex, pussy, whatever you wish to call it. Doesn't mean he's going to get anything. He's just that guy who can be used to allow that woman to feel good that she has a sponsor, someone who is going to sponsor, boosting her ego and her emotions up. Whereas the same type of woman could be having sex with a guy or several guys that haven't done any of the sort. And I've talked to those and some other brothers, and they'd be like, yo, that seems what's happening today. Like, you can take a sister out, and you can spend, like, in a whole month, you can spend like anywhere from $100 to $200 on her, and then all of a sudden she decides she doesn't like you and she walks away from it and you get nothing. Okay, these are some of the things that are discussed between various brothers, various men in different groups. Okay, so in essence, what is dating today is just nothing but in so many words, is a relationship between a prostitute and a John. A John is the term used for an individual who seeks the services of a prostitute, okay, or trick in some instances. And if you are bringing forth these actions and you're getting nothing out of it, you're not a John, you're a trick. A John at least gets the reciprocation from his efforts. A trick doesn't get nothing. Okay, so me being that the words that I reference what they mean, there's no wonder why the so-called dating or courtship game is the way it is, because we utter these words and the intent behind the word, even though we may not necessarily understand the word, we utter this out into the universe, and also within our subconscious mind, and on the mental plane and the astral plane as well as the physical plane, we create those conditions. Okay, so be that as it may, dating or date is also used to refer to an agreement between a prostitute and a payer or a suitor, and the person pays money or gives gifts or whatever, or a form of exchange for sex. Okay, and it's interesting because, and I once did this also. It's interesting that we accept that as the medium or the meaning of relationship, and we have to realize that the term dating doesn't really have anything to do with having a balanced, holistic, and harmonious relationship. It's a form of exchange. If you use the online etymology dictionaries, you will find that one of the words synonymous with dating is blowjob and or fellatio and or oral sex. There was a time, or there still is a time, depending on who's doing it, where you will go out with a person, you spend and give gifts and all of this stuff, and then at the end of the date, get your little moo-moo on, and then it's over with. However, for some individuals, that's not happening because that's not in particular what they are seeking. And I'll continue this in the next post, part 2. Peace.